So let's say, right, so we get this long trade signal here. And what's wanted is we actually, he wants to hold off on placing this long signal until price actually comes and crosses below the opening price of the bar, of that bar. Well, actually, just until price crosses the opening of the previous bar. So it's not actually referring to the trade signal bar, but just he just wants to wait until price crosses the opening of the bar, of the previous bar. So let's kind of do this the opposite way here. So let's say if we're referring to this short signal here, then what's wanted is to wait until price crosses the open of the previous bar. Right, so we need price to wait until it crosses the open of that previous bar there. So that didn't happen on this bar, but on the next bar it actually happens. And actually, I don't know, maybe range bars is probably the wrong bar type for this kind of logic, so yeah, how about if I let me switch to a time-based bar. That'll make a lot more sense. Let's go to a 30-second bar. All right, so let me find a spot on the chart here for this question. Doesn't look like any of these bars here meet the condition that's wanted. Oh, no, here we go, we got one. So let's take this short signal, for example. And so instead of firing off the short trade right away, what's wanted is to wait until the opening price has been crossed, or has been crossed. Let's see here. Yes, so it actually wants to wait for the opening price to be crossed. So here we go. So basically at that point, when price finally crosses the previous bar's open, that would be used to fire off the trade signal there. So let me see if I can generate something like that here. All right, so now we have BlackBird up here. Let's see. So what's wanted is to use a market order on this. So we're going to use a market order for this. And what will accomplish, waiting for crossing the open of the previous bar is our placement trigger here. The placement trigger here. Right, so this is one of the new options with the kind of scaling in that allows the scaling in, but it also allows you to apply some additional conditions before getting into the trade or executing the entry order. So what we can do is we can do a price versus indicator here. But what we're actually going to do is price versus price is what we'll do here. So even though it says price versus indicator, it can actually be indicator versus price or price versus price, right? Or it can be an indicator versus price or price versus indicator. So you can interchange, these two, the price and indicator, you can interchange that as you see fit. So, all right, so let's see, indicator. So indicator A, or basically kind of input A, that's going to be the open of the bar. So that'll be the open. So let's see, actually I think that's going to be the open of 2 bars not 2 bars back, but a look back period of 2. So it's going to be, it's going to be a look back period of 2. So remember, a look back period always starts at 1. It's different than a displacement. It's because it's a period, right? You can never have a period of 0 on your indicators, right? What would happen if you had an SMA with a period of 0, right? Well, you'd get nothing. So, right. So any kind of keyword that has the word period in it, it always tells you that your index has to start at 1, right? So a look back period of 1 means the current bar. And so we actually want to look back 2 bars like that. So, all right, so we have open for the long trade and open for the short trade. So we got the open price, and B is going to be price as well. So we're going to change the mode to price, and then we need to go find the correct price. And so let's see, we can do 2 things. We could use the last, or we could use the close. So in this particular case, they're actually one and the same. So the last price is also the same as the close price when you're dealing with the most recent bar. So when we're dealing with the live bar here, so this bar that's building, NinjaTrader considers the last price also the same as the close price of that bar. But we'll put it on the last price here, just because I'd say it's just the right terminology there. So, all right. So we're gonna check to see when the last price basically crosses over or passes the open price of the bar. And let's see. So for a long mode, we actually want. Let's see. We want A to be above B. Yeah, so we want the open price to be above the last. In other words, that makes the last price below the open. All right. So let's see. Yeah. So the question specifically says it wants to wait until price crosses the open. So a crossing does not involve an equals, right? If 2 things are equal, they haven't crossed yet. So we need to get rid of the equal. And then for the short, we're just going to use the opposite here. So A below B for a short. All right. Let's see. So, yeah, I think that's all correct. And let's see. Yeah, there's no delay. We don't want to delay anything on this. All right. Yeah, I think that's all that's needed there. Or at least that's all that's needed for setting up our market entry order. There is one more thing that's needed. So since the order is wanting to go in, as soon. So let's see here. Let me go back here on the chart and find an example here. There we go. All right, so let's take this short trade, for example. So what's wanted is as soon as price crosses that open of the previous bar, right, a market order is wanting to get in, right? And so that operation is going to be on a live bar, right, intrabar, in real time. So what that means is we have to make an adjustment to BlackBird here. So to get things to operate in real time, what we have to do is change this calculate on bar close, right? So if we wait for the bar to close, then price could have moved really, really far for that to happen. Or if we wait until the bar closes, well, price could have moved up, made that cross, and then pulled back down, and then again, the trade would have been opened if the bar had closed way down here. But what's wanted is to get into the trade, as quickly as possible, as soon as the live market crosses the open. So we don't want to wait for the bar to close way up top, or we don't want to wait for price to maybe cross it and then continue on down and then get into the market way down below. We want to get in as close as possible to that opening price of the previous bar there. So that requires that calculate on bar close adjustment. So let's go into our strategies, and what we need to do is disable BlackBird, make this change here. So we'll set calculate on bar close to false, and then we'll enable our strategy again. All right, and let's see, let's close this trade out, and let's see, we close this trade out here. And actually, you know what? My signals here, I might have to make some modifications to my BloodHound signals to get this to work as expected. Let's see, one more thing, just a sec. I need to put the bar timer on here so I can tell when the bar is going to close. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. So we have a short signal here. So if I pull the market up, we should get into a trade as soon as the market breaks the open. And there we go. Bingo. There it happened. So got in right on time. All right, so let's see. So we got a buy. So let me pull the market down. Hopefully you can get the market down within our 15 seconds there. We can get, so we got a long signal, and if we can get the last price to, let's see, let's see, it fired off a little too soon there. Yeah. All right, let me just double check this again here. Let's see, that just took a long signal. Oh, yeah, so my trade signals really aren't set up to work correctly with this. Let's see. All right. I'm going to see if I can make a quick modification to my BloodHound template. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yep, okay. I think that'll do it. All right. I'm just going to reset the chart. All right, so we did get a short signal, and let's move market up. All right, so there's the open, and if we cross that open, and no, hold on. there, short signal. Actually, we're now. No, actually, no. My modification didn't work. Let's see here. I'm gonna have to find an appropriate, appropriate BloodHound signal here. Because I'm getting basically, right. We're getting all these reversal signals, which is not. Doesn't create a good example situation here. Ah, there we go. Yeah, that should be better, I think. All right. That should work. So let me go in here and modify my BloodHound signals here. So we're going to use the price inflection with the MACD filter. So and we can see that it's no longer generating a ton of reversal signals here. So that kind of gives me some space in between these trade signals to work with. All right, so let's click OK. And I'm just going to refresh the chart real quick. All right. Hold on a sec. I think I accidentally turned the racing stripes off. There we go. Let's turn those back on. There. All right, so let me generate a new, I need to generate a new long signal. And let's see, let me take a look here, because yeah, we're getting signals firing off right away that should have waited until we had passed that. So I need to take a look at my logic again here and see if I had overlooked something. Oh, yes, I did overlook something in my BloodHound logic. Let's see. Yeah. So since I'm having to put BlackBird in calculate on bar close false, right, what's happening is I'm getting signals intra-bar here, right? As soon as I get a reversal, I'm getting signals intra-bar. So what I want to do is I want to wait for the bar to close. So with calculate on bar close set to false, that calculate on bar close set to false, I want to wait for the bar to actually close. So the way I can do that is I can use this look back node to do that. So using this look back node with a displacement of 1, effectively, you know, what that effectively does is with calculate on bar close equaling false, that waits for the bar to actually close and then the signal's given. So, all right, so let me generate another long signal here. Okay, so now all we need is just an up bar to get our reversal. So there's the open. Okay, so now we have our long signal. So the long signal actually came from this bar But since we're working with calculating bar close faults, right, it gets pushed over to the next bar as soon as the next bar opens, which is kind of the same thing as waiting for this bar to close. And hopefully, can I get price down fast? Yeah, there we go. So, and there we go. So we got our long signal there. So what happened was, since that bar closed, there we go. So basically when this next bar opened, it opened below the low of the previous bar. And so we got into the trade. And so let's see, let's set this up for another signal here. Let's close this. All right, come on, price. It's closed down. There we go. All right, so we got a reversal down. So now I just need to generate a reversal up. So there's the open of that bar. Okay, so there's the open of the bar marked. And as soon as price comes down and crosses that open, that should jump us right into a trade. And let's see here. Well, we got a long pending. And let's see. All right, let's see. It jumped in there. Let's see. Let me take a look at my trigger condition here again. Let's see. So the placement trigger. Let's see. So that is the open. Yeah, single value open. And let's see. We're using the last value. Well, let me try something different here. Let's look. I'm going to try and use the close. And so we're going to do the close with a look back period of 1. Closing price, look back period of 1. And we'll compare that to the open. Yeah, with the look back of 2. And let me just double check my logic, my mode here. Let me double check the mode. Maybe that's backwards. Let's see. No, I don't think that is backwards. That seems to be correct. Okay. Well, so let's give this a try. Okay, so we have. All right, we have an up bar here. There we go. So, I do need to pull price down here. Oops. Hey, there we go. That fired off this time. Alright, so maybe using the closing price is going to work for us better. Let's do one more. Let's wait for one more. Let's do one more trade signal here just to confirm. And let's see. Oh, we're starting to generate short signals now. All right. So let me pull price up to the open for this short, and so we can see we have a short pending. So we're just waiting for this crossover condition to occur. Yeah, there we go. All right, so that worked for that short. All right, I'm just gonna try and move. I'm gonna get the market to move up here and start generating long signals again. So this simple BloodHound, these simple kind of example signals here that I got built in BloodHound uses the MACD as a filter for all these bar reversals. So let's see here. let me get the MACD on here so we can see if that MACD is above the 0 line. And yes, our MACD is above the 0 line again. Good. All right, so let me just get a bar to close down, and then get a bar to close up, and we'll get that reversal up signal. Okay, so that's going to be the open of our signal bar, right? So this, when this bar closes up, that's going to be our bar reversal up signal. So that'll generate a long signal here in 2 seconds. Okay, there we go. So now we just need to pull price down. Pull price down, and as soon as it crosses the open, right, open of the previous bar back, we should get a long signal. We can see our long is pending. And bingo, there we go. All right. So there. Now it's working. So, all right, let me just kind of review here. All right, so let's review how we did this here. So, all right, so yeah, so the traders, wanting to submit a market order. As soon as price crosses, the open of the previous bar after, after getting a trade signal. And so what we're doing is we're using this placement trigger as a, right, so placement trigger is a way to apply a secondary condition, before the trade is placed. So this could also be called like a placement condition. So right, but this is also, the placement trigger is also where you could kind of it's what it's going to be used for most is this trade signal trigger, right? So this is kind of a way that you can set up a leg in system. So on the first signal, you can get order A to go in. And then if you had an order B and C and D, you could say, okay, order B would go in on the second trade signal. Order C would go in on the third trade signal. So it's kind of this trade signal gives you a way of legging in. But to make this a little more universal, we've also got all these other kind of conditions here. And so we're using the price versus indicator condition. And so we're comparing the open, right, or actually we're comparing the closing price to the open price here. So I actually probably set this up backwards as how most people would think of it. So, maybe most people would be thinking, well, we're comparing the closing price to the open price, but, right. So basically, right, we're checking when the close, and remember, so for NinjaTrader, the close is also whatever the last price was as well. The last price and the close are one and the same on the bar that's building, right, the live bar that's building. So whenever that close price basically crosses the open of the previous bar back. So that's how we got all this to work here. So, and again, the key is that on our open, so we want the open price of one bar back. So we have to use a look back period of 2. And then the close, well, we want the close of the current building bar, right? So since we have calculate on bar close set to false, so a look back period of 1 actually is the current the current live building bar. All right, guys, with that, I'll say have a good weekend, and hope to see you guys next week. And of course, keep your questions coming. Keep your questions coming into the support for these workshops. All right, guys, we'll talk to you later. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.